Hey freaks, it's JJ. Welcome to my channel. Happy New Year to all of you freaks. And if you're new to my channel, my name is JJ. I am both a metalhead and an author. And here on my channel, I like to discuss how music and storytelling go hand in hand. I mostly talk about concept albums, but today I will be talking about some band comics. During the Black Friday holiday last year, I snagged some comics from Z2 Comics. So I'll be talking a little bit about Dio's Holy Diver, Judas Priest Screaming for Vengeance, and Halestorm's Hyde Manor. I was going to do a whole separate video for each one of these individually, but you know what? I just don't have time to do that, so I'm going to squeeze it all into one video. Anyway, I have covered some other band comics if you're interested in those. I covered Einstein Kills, the whole entire Amory Wars saga, and also a Kill Audio comic book. I will link those up here in case you're interested in viewing those. Also at the end of this video, I'll link them as well. Z2 Comics has been hitting it out of the park as far as all these band comic collaborations that they've been doing. And yeah, I'm excited to get into it. But before we get started, make sure you hit subscribe if you want to support what I do here on this channel. Also, feel free to join my metalhead community. Link is down in the description. It's totally free, and from there you get access to bonus content and a monthly newsletter from me. And also, I can't go without mentioning that in case you missed my last video, I just published the audiobook for my debut dark fantasy novel titled Trials for the Haunted. So yeah, go check that out. I will link that down in the description as well. And yeah, I'm really happy with the final product of the audiobook. But enough about me, let's get started. So I'm going to go in order from my least favorite to my favorite with these comics. So first off, my least favorite of the three, not to say that it was a bad comic, but it was my least favorite of the three, I have Halestorm's Hyde Manor. I was really excited about this one because I love horror comics, and this is meant to be a horror comic. But for me, it felt a little bit short of my horror comic expectations. I'll get into that in a second. But basically some background plot info is that the band has rented out an old mansion to kind of, relax and maybe start writing some music after they've completed a long tour. So they go to this mansion and some strange things begin happening. Now, the reason why it didn't really quite fulfill my horror expectations is that I feel like we got kind of trapped in a loop of things just getting a little bit repetitive. I don't know how many times I read the line, "Lizzie, this just isn't you." And yeah, I don't know. It felt like we were kind of beating a dead horse with it. And I think I was just expecting a little bit more action or weird stuff to happen. It just felt a little bit too generic haunted house for me, which is fine if that's, what you're into, but I don't know. I thought there would be a little bit more to it. Granted, the ending was pretty good. I'm not going to give away the ending, but the ending did make me like it a little bit more. That's all I'm going to say. It was not expected, and I enjoyed the ending. But yeah, I don't know. The things I did like about it was that the artwork was great. The artist really captured the likeness of Lizzie and, the rest of the band members. But yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. It wasn't a bad comic. It was just not as good as the other ones that I read. I'm sorry if I'm talking too fast. I'm trying to get this all in before my baby wakes up. So yeah, if you need to, feel free to slow down this video. There's like a little button here or there or somewhere where you can slow it down. Anyway, blazing right along, we're going to get into my second favorite of the three, and that is Dio's Holy Diver. So this, of course, is based on the song Holy Diver by Dio. Oh, I forgot to mention before that this one is based on the Mrs. Hyde song by Halestorm. Okay, so I was really excited for this one because, for a long time I've been like, what the heck is this song Holy Diver all about? It has a lot of weird lyrics that don't really seem to match up to each other. So I was excited to see, this writer's interpretation of the song. So basically the plot goes that it's about this preacher who, goes on missions to try and convert the masses to Christianity. And he one day arrives at this village where he happens upon the scene of a bunch of dancing naked people, and what he sees in his eyes is this weird deformed cult of people trying to perform a bunch of black magic. But what is really happening is this village has their own religion and their own protector, and so they're celebrating a festival where they are celebrating their great protector, which is a dragon. So of course, me, fantasy reader, fantasy author, always love when there's a dragon. But anyway, I digress. So basically our preacher is captured by the village and imprisoned, but eventually the preacher is released and allowed to become a citizen of this village. And so the preacher accepts the opportunity to become a citizen of the village. However, he is secretly still on his mission to try and convert them to, Christianity and, bring them away from this demonic religion as he sees it. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm not wanting to give too many spoilers on this story, but yeah, this one was definitely a page turner. The story definitely sucked me in, and I had no idea where it was going to go. And yeah, I was really excited for this really unique take on it. And yeah, it was not quite what I expected, which was good. I really liked how the lyrics of the song were interpreted into this story. It's not exactly how I would have done it, but it was definitely an enjoyable read. And I also enjoyed how they converted the album artwork from the Holy Diver album into, things that happen in this comic as well. Again, I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, you can definitely see the inspiration for part of this story was inspired by the album artwork itself. And so yeah, I really enjoyed this one. My only complaint, and it's not really a complaint, but I did do some research on the song Holy Diver, trying to figure out what Dio himself was thinking when he wrote the song. Like, what is his message and what was his, story that he created when writing Holy Diver? And so he has gone on record saying the following. So Holy Diver is really about a Christ figure who is in another place, not Earth, and who has done exactly the same thing there as we apparently experienced on Earth. He died for the sins of man on that other far and distant planet so that mankind there could be cleansed, start again, and do things properly this time. The people on this planet are calling him Holy Diver because he is about to go to another place, to another planet, dive into another world, to do what he did on the first planet, which is to save people from the sins or absolve them from their sins by having himself killed. And the people are saying to him, don't go, with innuendos of tigers and stripes and hearts and being eaten. And now here's the important part of this whole quote. And the reason why I'm reading this to you in the first place is this is the important part. It was meant to show just how selfish humanity is. This is one form of humanity on this one world said, no, don't go there and save anybody else. Stay here. We need you. You are ours. So basically his whole message with this song was meant to show, the selfishness of humanity, whereas this Holy Diver is this Jesus figure who's this, good heroic character. However, in the comic, we have the preacher is definitely the villain of the story, and the villagers, i.e. humanity, are the heroes of the story. So yeah, I thought that was a little bit opposite of what Dio intended, but of course Dio has also said you should always take it however you want to take it and interpret it yourself and develop your own meaning to it, which I think most artists do when they're creating art in the first place, that it's meant to be up to the individual interpretation. But yeah, I just thought that was just an interesting thing to note, that it was a little bit opposite of what Dio had intended with his song, but that's not to say it was a bad interpretation of the song, not to say that it was a bad story at all. I really enjoyed it. All right, and last but not least, we have Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance. This one was my favorite of the three. And yeah, actually one of my favorite sci-fi comics that I've read recently. It had a very, very sophisticated storyline and very complex world building, which is definitely what I like to see in graphic novels. Like, the medium of comics and graphic novels lends itself so well to having a very immersive and, dynamic, epic world building option with, of course, all the pictures, and not having to get all wordy with your descriptions. It's just there on the page for you to explore and get, caught up in. So the artwork and the writing accomplished that very, very well, in my opinion. The world was really, really cool and really complex. I liked how, the two different sides of the world in this fictional story had, different vernaculars for, certain words or phrases, and also found that the backdrop and the fashion styles depicted by the characters in the comic lent well to contrasting the two worlds that the character finds himself in. So before I get too caught up in talking about how much I love the world building and all that, some background on the plot. The plot is basically takes place on this ring of cities that orbit the dead planet of Earth. So this is far future. Earth is dead, and there's these cities that orbit around the dead planet. And this low-ranking but brilliant engineer manages to recreate what it's called a bloodstone. And this is a technology that keeps the rings turning around the Earth and kind of keeps things from crashing down and, falling apart. However, his discovery lands him in trouble because, the powers that be, they want complete control of, these whole ring of cities, and, they feel threatened by this engineer who was able to make one on his own. So again, don't want to give too much away. I don't want to give any spoilers, but that's basically the gist of it. So I'll stop there. But there were so many twists and turns in this story that I really just can't say enough how excited I was reading this. And I really didn't expect almost any of these twists that happened. So unlike the other two stories that I talked about, this one actually covers the entirety of the Judas Priest Screaming for Vengeance album. Whereas like the Holy Diver and of course Halestorm, Hyde Manor were to do with one specific song, this one is the whole album, and it makes references to almost all of these song titles in the album. And so yeah, I think there was just more to work with as far as like source material and inspiration as far as, creating this storyline. But I have to hand it to the writers and the illustrators. I need to look up their names right now because I don't remember them. Oh my god, I can't say these names. Rance A. Hosley, Rance A. Hosley, Neil Khalid. Illustrator Christopher Mitten. I can read that one. Yeah, wow. Very, very well done with this one. And yeah, if you are into science fiction at all, then I suggest you read that one. But yeah, again, the album cover was integrated very, very well into the story as well. And yeah, I just had a lot of fun reading it. The story was also so much more expansive than the other two I talked about. I think it was a little bit longer than the other two as well, but I'm not sure on that. But yeah, that's about all I have to say. I'm really trying so hard not to give spoilers because I hate when people spoil things that I'm going to read, and I really want you guys to check these out if you want to. But yes, please let me know down in the comments if you have read any of these, and we can chat about it a little bit. But yes, I love these music to story adaptations coming out of Z2 Comics. I am ready for y'all to hire me as a writer. Just kidding, not really. But yeah, I'm really excited to read more of their comics. Please let me know down in the comments which ones I should pick up next and read so that I can talk about with you guys. Or any other like band related, music related comics not coming out of Z2, maybe some indie publishers or anything like that. Please let me know about those down in the comments. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This year on my YouTube channel, I'm going to be uploading a little bit less than I have the past couple of years just because I'm super busy. I'm not going to go into all my boring life story. If you want to know more about that, join my Metalhead community where I talk about a little bit more about my personal life. But yeah, I got a lot going on this year, so I'm hoping to just get in one video a month, and I hope that is enough to satiate you guys. Anyway, keep in touch down in the comments, join my Metalhead community, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will see you guys next month.